Thank you so much for being a part of this mission opportunity for us to give an opportunity for missionaries who are traveling across the world just to kind of share what God is doing in them. And some of you are asking how to support and how to pray for them, but also some of you may be interested in how to become a missionary. So I'm excited to have one of our missionaries here who spent some time in a lot of different areas. I'm going to have him introduce himself and just say hello to all of you.
Hey, everyone. My name is James. I am currently in New Orleans, but this time next week, hopefully I'll be back in Asia with my wife, Christy, and my wife of 18 years, and then our two children, Rebecca, who is 11, and Reed, he is 6. And so for the last 10 years, we have been serving in Asia. Previously, my wife and I have served all over the world on short-term trips, and we each spent several years in Africa as well. And our connection really is with New Orleans, with this area. My wife is from the area, and so we love the New Orleans area and the way that God is moving in so many different ways in that area. And our heart is just to see students and to see God's people really follow Him wherever that might be. For most people, it's ministering where you are, but for a lot of people, I think they've never had the opportunity or they don't know how to get involved with God's mission around the world. And so whatever we can do to assist that. And I'm thankful for you, Brother Mark, for allowing me to come and to talk.
Man, that's what I want to ask you too, because you've ministered in so many different parts of the United States and different parts of the world. How has ministry adjusted for you guys as you begin to think about where you started in ministry and that initial setting foot on foreign soil, so to speak, to where you are now, where that place that we consider foreign is considered home in a lot of places? How was that process for you?
Yeah, I think, ministering even before I ever went overseas here in the United States in some churches, and then, I think first arriving in Africa, I had no idea, really what I was doing. And I think that just that the only thing that has remained constant before I ever went overseas or going to Africa or ministering different places in the world, the only thing that has remained constant is you have to keep the reality in your mind that God is in control and God can put you wherever He wants you. God can do anything He wants with you or without you at any time. That mindset is really the only thing that has been a constant over the last 20 years as my wife and I have been ministering, in different places in the world. And I think because maybe God had that been working on us for so long because He was preparing us for this year, because in COVID, I think it was very, existential crisis for everybody. It's like, what am I even doing? And the fact is, God had worked in my life at least, and my wife's life, to say, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters what I'm doing, as long as you follow me each day. So that's been the big thing that God has impressed upon me over the years and the decades. I guess I'm old, just God is in control. Whatever it is, God is in control.
And that matters. That makes a big difference. Now, the process, like someone who's coming from a seminary or a young person really considering doing missions and those kind of things, when you talk about going over to missions and the process to get to the gospel, like the end of the day, we want to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, but sometimes there's steps leading up to that. You don't get a chance to just go right in and say, do you accept Jesus Christ? You know what I mean? You have to go through these steps and process. What are some of those layers that you think students need to be aware of as they're walking to getting to that point where they can make that appeal to accept Jesus Christ? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, my wife and I work a lot in Asia with new units coming out, with families or singles coming out to serve. And some of them have experience in different places around the world, but a lot of them don't. And so that's really a great question. When you first minister to a person, and I try to impress upon Christians in the United States because they think it's such a different animal overseas, it's really not that different. What we need to do is you have to have that relationship first. You have to have that trust first within whatever culture you are, whether the culture of New Orleans or the culture of Alabama or the culture of Asia. You have to have that trust relationship if you want the gospel to flow effectively. And so that's the first step is, go in with a humble learning mentality. That's the one thing that I would say. I've heard missionaries, my leadership, and I've said it even, you have to be flexible. The flexibility is the number one thing in missions. And I agree that like nuts and bolts of how I do my work each day, we have to be flexible or Satan's going to get to you. But I would say that like spiritually, that humility of Christ, that Philippians 2 kind of humility, that's what your spiritual life needs to be focused upon, is like, I don't know anything, but I'll do whatever I can to share the gospel with this Asian or this African or this American, just that humble attitude of, God, use me however you can, use whatever little language I know, use whatever, little skills I have, use my curiosity, God, so that I can ask the right question and form a trust relationship with this person who otherwise would never listen to the gospel from my lips.